A millionaire CEO humiliated her husband in front of 500 guests by throwing a glass of wine in his face. You don't belong in my elite circle. You smell like failure, she shouted. Her name was Valerie Caldwell, CEO of Caldwell Systems, a fast-rising tech company. Moments earlier, she had signed the biggest deal of her life, an $800 million contract with Trident Corporation. Cameras flashed, champagne flowed, and 500 investors and reporters cheered. Valerie had climbed from a junior manager to the top of a $150 million a year software empire in just 10 years. The Trident deal would take her global, fortune, fame, power. She stood on stage, pen still in hand, smiling for the cameras when her husband approached. Hunter Caldwell, quiet, modest, wearing a simple gray suit, a man who never fit into her glittering world. "Congratulations, Val," he said softly. "You did it. I'm proud of you." Valerie turned sharply. "Proud? Of me?" she laughed. "You couldn't land a deal like this if your life depended on it. You make $5,000 a month consulting while I run a multi-million-dollar company." Her voice rose. Conversations around them died out. The crowd stared. "You don't deserve to stand next to me," she hissed. "You don't belong here." She snatched a glass of red wine from a passing tray and threw it straight into his face. The room gasped. Cameras clicked furiously. Hunter froze, wiped his face with a handkerchief, and said quietly, "You've made your choice, Valerie. Live with it." He turned and walked out as the hall fell silent. Valerie's chest tightened. Anger, humiliation, adrenaline. But then she lifted her chin and forced a smile. "Let's keep celebrating," she said. The music started again, but the air felt heavier. 10 minutes later, the same Trident representative returned to stage, his face cold and unreadable. "Attention, everyone. By direct order of our owner, Trident Corporation is terminating its contract with Caldwell Systems, effective immediately. We do not work with executives who show public disrespect. Good evening." The room erupted. Reporters rushed forward. Valerie stood frozen. $800 million. Gone. Her empire collapsing in real time. She ran after the Trident delegate. "You can't do this. The contract is signed." He stopped, turned, eyes like steel, orders from the owner. "We don't partner with people who humiliate others in public. Goodbye." Security blocked her path. The realization hit like ice. Who was the owner? How could one man's order undo everything? That evening, the scandal dominated every news channel. CEO Valerie Caldwell throws wine at husband. $800 million deal canceled. Clips replayed on loop. Valerie shouting. The wine flying. Hunter standing still. Commentators dissected her meltdown live on air. At home, in her luxury penthouse overlooking San Francisco, Valerie poured herself a whiskey and stared at the screen. Her phone buzzed nonstop. Investors, board members, journalists. Her career, her company, her reputation, all in ruins. And the man she'd just destroyed was nowhere to be found. Then the phone rang again, her mother calling from Europe. Valerie answered. "What have you done?" Her mother's voice trembled. The whole world saw that clip. "You humiliated your husband and lost $800 million. For what?" "He provoked me," Valerie snapped. "No, he loved you. He stood by you for 8 years while you ignored him. Call him. Apologize before you lose everything." Valerie threw her phone onto the couch. Her mother was right, but pride wouldn't let her admit it. Apologize to Hunter? Never. She went to bed late, mind racing. By morning, her phone rang again, an emergency board meeting in 1 hour. When Valerie walked into the conference room, 15 board members sat around the long table, their faces grim. Chairman Edward Thompson spoke first. Ms. Caldwell, yesterday's incident was a disaster. Our stock dropped 20% overnight. Clients are threatening to terminate contracts. Trident canceled the deal. What do you have to say for yourself? My personal life has nothing to do with business, Valerie said stiffly. It does when it's caught on camera and seen by millions. Thompson shot back. You're the face of this company. Your behavior affects us all. I'll fix it. I'll apologize publicly and restore the deal. Impossible. Trident said the owner's order is final. Then I'll find other partners. Thompson sighed. You have 1 week. If things don't improve, the board will vote to remove you. Valerie left furious. A week to save everything, and no way to reach Trident. She tried calling Hunter. No answer. She texted, "We need to talk. Urgently." No response. Days passed in chaos. Clients called nonstop. The press flooded her inbox. Investors demanded statements. She went home every night to an empty penthouse. Hunter hadn't returned since that night. After 8 years of marriage, she realized she didn't even know where he stayed, who his friends were, or what he really did. The headlines grew worse. CEO from glory to ruin, Caldwell's fall from grace. The arrogant executive who lost $800 million. By the third day, the video had over 5 million views. Comments tore her apart. Serves her right. Hope her husband takes everything. Karma moves fast. Valerie closed the page, trembling. Then, her lawyer Robert Gray called. "Valerie, I found something. About Trident. You need to come in. Now." Half an hour later, she was in his office. He poured her a glass of water, looking uneasy. The official reason for cancellation was public disrespect. But I dug deeper, he said. Trident is a subsidiary of Black Holdings, a massive private investment fund. The owner isn't public, hidden through multiple trusts and shell companies. And the cancellation came directly from the fund's owner, not Trident's management. That means the decision was personal. Personal? Valerie frowned. I don't even know the owner. Robert slid a folder across the table. You sure about that? Look. Inside were documents, financial transfers, equity records. For 8 years, Caldwell Systems had received funding from small investors, all secretly connected to Black Holdings. Someone's been financing your career through these front companies, Robert said quietly. For 8 years. Since the year you got married. Valerie froze. 8 years. The same as her marriage to Hunter. No, impossible. Can you find the name of the owner? She whispered. I tried. The network is sealed tight. Trusts, offshore accounts, dummy directors. But there's one name that keeps appearing. He handed her another page. Trust beneficiary. Hunter Reed. Valerie's vision blurred. That's my husband. He's the owner, Valerie. He created Black Holdings 12 years ago, 2 years before you met. The paperwork's genuine. He controls over $2 billion in assets. Her knees gave out. The man she called a failure, the one she humiliated in front of the world, had built her empire from shadows and destroyed it in seconds. Why hadn't he said anything? Why let her treat him that way? Robert's voice softened. Maybe you want to know if you'd love him without the money. Valerie drove straight to the address Robert found, a $20 million estate in the Bay Area. Security stopped her at the gate. Name. Valerie Caldwell, Hunter Reed's wife. A pause, then the gates opened. She parked in front of the mansion. Hunter was already standing in the doorway, dressed simply, jeans, a shirt, calm but cold. "We need to talk," she said. He hesitated, then stepped aside. "Come in." The house was elegant but understated. Art on the walls, panoramic windows, the quiet hum of wealth that doesn't need to prove itself. They sat across from each other. "Robert told me the truth," she began. "You own Black Holdings. Is it true?" "It is." "Why hide it? Why let me treat you like? I want to see if you'd love me for who I was." "You didn't." His voice was steady. "For 8 years, you saw me as a burden. I watched you rise, and hoped success would make you kinder. It only made you crueler." Tears welled in her eyes. "I didn't know, Hunter. If I had, if you'd known, you'd have loved the money. Not me." Silence filled the room. He continued, "I built your company, funded your contracts, connected your investors. I gave you everything, and you repaid me with public humiliation." Valerie wept. "Can you help me fix it? Restore the deal?" "No," he said firmly. "Black Holdings doesn't invest in arrogance. We have principles, respect above profit. You broke that rule. I've apologized. After you learned I was rich. Not before. That's not remorse. That's desperation." She looked down, unable to argue. He stood and handed her a folder. "Our prenup. You signed it 12 years ago. Remember?" Inside, she saw the clause, the one she'd ignored back then. If one spouse could prove financial contribution to the other's career, the assets were excluded from division. All his investments documented, traceable. Her fortune? Gone. "You'll walk away with nothing," Hunter said quietly. "Not revenge, just consequence." Valerie sobbed. "Please, give me one more chance. I'll change. I'll do better." 8 years of promises, Valerie. I believed them once. Not anymore. He turned to the window. "You didn't lose me tonight. You lost respect. For yourself, for others. Without that, money means nothing." She whispered, "Did you ever love me?" He turned, eyes sad. "I did. I thought love could change you. But love doesn't change people. It reveals who they truly are." He opened the door. "Goodbye, Valerie." She stepped outside. The gates closed behind her as she stood before the mansion she never knew existed. A week later, she sat before the board again. "The vote is 13-2, Thompson said flatly. "You're removed as CEO effective immediately." Her company's stock had collapsed 50%. Clients gone. Partnerships dissolved. She packed her things, a framed photo, a pen, a notebook, and left through the back door to avoid the reporters. Even the apartment she'd lived in was gone. It belonged to Hunter, bought long before their marriage. Valerie Caldwell, once the face of power, now had nothing. Not the company, not the home, not the man, just the echo of her own pride. The divorce was finalized in a week. No fight, nothing to split. Hunter took what was legally his. Valerie crashed on her friend Sarah's couch and drifted for a month. Her name was toxic. No one wanted to hire the CEO who tossed wine in her husband's face and lost an $800 million deal on live TV. Eventually, she took a mid-level manager job at a mid-sized firm, $5,000 a month, the same salary she once mocked Hunter for. She rented a small apartment in a working-class neighborhood, second-hand furniture, a window facing a brick wall. Not glamorous, but honest. She worked hard, kept her head down, and learned humility. Co-workers were surprised. A former CEO taking notes, apologizing when she was wrong, never belittling anyone. 6 months later, Caldwell Systems declared bankruptcy. James Collins couldn't save it. Black Holdings pulled support. Partners left. Clients vanished. The company was sold off in pieces. Valerie's shares were worthless. She didn't cry. She'd been expecting it. He built it. He let it fall. A year later, she saw Hunter by chance in a downtown cafe, reading a paper by the window. He looked up, recognized her, and nodded politely. "Hi, Hunter. May I?" "Sure." They sat in awkward quiet. "How are you?" he asked. "I heard you're managing again." "Modest but honest," she said. "I'm learning to live without the arrogance. It's hard. It's right." She hesitated. "Why did you let the company go?" "People lost jobs." Hunter sighed. "The company was built on lies. You took credit for others' work, bullied staff, misled partners. It was already rotting. I just stopped holding it up, and I helped your people find new jobs, retraining, placement. Black Holdings handled it quietly. You helped them, not me. You never asked. Pride, right?" She nodded. "I was ashamed. Pain isn't the goal. The lesson is," he said. "I've learned it," Valerie whispered. "Respect is a foundation. Without it, success is empty." He gave a small smile. "That isn't a paradox. It's the truth. Money moves. Character stays. Keep changing that." She swallowed. "Can we start over? Not marriage, a friendship. I want to know you, not the consultant, not the billionaire." He held her gaze, then shook his head. "Too soon. Maybe later. A year doesn't remake a life. Keep doing the work. If you're still humble, respectful, honest in a few years, maybe we talk. No promises, just a possibility." He left cash for the coffee and walked out. A possibility. Not a promise, but enough. 3 years later, Valerie stood in a small office, looking at a team of 10. She was now a founder and CEO of a tiny, ethical software company serving small businesses. Modest revenue. Steady growth. She paid fair wages, set sane deadlines, protected her people. No scandals, no shouting, no fear. Clients were loyal. Her team was happy. Partners trusted her. That evening, in her plain little office, her phone rang. "Valerie? It's Hunter. Remember me?" Her heart kicked. "Of course. I've been hearing good things. Congratulations. Honest work. I respect it. Thank you. I had a good teacher," she said softly. "Your lesson stuck. Black Holdings is looking for worthy partners. Your company qualifies. Interested in a meeting?" She blinked. "Seriously? I've watched from a distance for 3 years. You change humility, respect, honesty. I value that. This isn't personal. It's business. Not as a husband, as a partner." Tears warmed her eyes. "Yes, let's meet." "You earned the chance," he said. "Keep going. See you soon." He hung up. Valerie stared at the phone, smiling through tears. 3 years of humility and hard work had not given her the old life back. They'd built a better one. Respect can't be bought. It can be lost in a single moment, and rebuilt only over time, choice by choice.